All right, here we go. So, let me pull this up, share my screen. So before I show you the Labor Day emails, I want to do a quick exercise with you. So we just talked about Joanne, and I've shared this story many times, right? So Joanne went to the Galapagos Islands. But I don't honestly believe Joanne is probably the best avatar for most of us. And here's why. I think we want to try to stay in the sweet spot of the baby boom generation, somewhere in that 60 to 75-year-old. And Joanne is going to represent people, and she was 80. She's going to represent the traditionalist generation, people with more health challenges. You will get them. And we got Joanne not because we marketed to women in their 80s. We got Joanne because we marketed really well to women in their 60s. And Joanne realized we were the only place in town that might be able to help her. So you will get them. But I don't think that's, for some of you, it might be your sweet spot. In fact, for Beth, it's been her sweet spot. She does in-home training. Thomas, I'm not sure what your average age client is these days, right? But if you're going into clients' homes, you probably are going to have people 75 plus, even 80 plus. These guys here, much younger, wealthier golfers in their late 50s and early 60s. So just here real quick, I want you to take a snapshot of this. And if you're on the recording later, I think this is one of the most critical things, because we're going to talk about this when I talk about multiple ways you can get 3 clients fast. I told you I was going to share that with you today. Well, this is your homework to start working on that, right? Because your next 3 clients are hiding in one of these places, and they're not even hiding. In fact, in a lot of cases, they're right sitting out there in broad daylight for you. They're almost easy pickings if you know where to look. And if you hang out in the right places, and if you build the right relationships and the right networks and the right connections, all of a sudden, it will be like your clients, your potential clients are just coming to you because you happen to be hanging out where they are. So create your avatar. If you aren't familiar with the word avatar, same for ideal client or your absolute target client. So this is not, oh, I'll train anybody 50 to 80. No. No, you won't. Now, sure, they'll come, but you really want, and Thomas, I know I've worked with you before, so I'll just use Thomas as an example, right? So if Thomas says, my absolute best client is a 70-year-old woman who has back pain and hip pain because I can get her out of pain in 30 days in most cases. And then you add some things to that, right? Okay, so the salute, and Thomas, that might not be true for you, right? I sort of made that up from memory. Is that somewhat accurate for you, Thomas?
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, hear you great.
Women 60 to 75 with a balance problem.
Balance problem. Okay, great. So I get real specific on that, Thomas. So I would say
drill down to that group.
What's the absolute best age if you had to pick one age?
The best age?
Yeah.
75.
Okay, 75. So Thomas said 60 to 75. Then he says the best age is 75, right? So then I would go a little deeper. I would say, let's look at Thomas's last 3 female clients and their results and what they paid. And then you might go, wait a minute, 175, 172, 169. So maybe it's really 72. What's her marital status? And then the interesting thing, Thomas goes, oh my goodness, all 3 of them go to the same hair salon. All 3 of them go to the same spot. They all go to the same church, right? I mean, you start to go, I think I need to go hang out at that church. I think I need to find out if that church has a older adult community program, or these churches have these older adult groups with sort of funny names like the Voyagers or the Explorers or the Ageless Wanderers, or their Sunday school programs are called the Little Adventurers, and then the older adults are something else, right? Well, you want to figure out how to tap into that, and then you find out that, and maybe you just, in your case, Thomas, you just pick your one best client and you go, oh, her hobby is tennis, and she goes to this really high-end tennis center. Maybe I should go meet the tennis pro, the tennis instructor, the whoever, right? And pretty soon you're like, I just got introduced to 10 70-year-old female tennis players, right? And pretty soon it's raining tennis players, and you're like, all you did was you looked at the makeup of your ideal client. You figured out where she's hanging out, where she's living, and where people like her are, right? And so if you, and Barry, I can see you on camera, right? If Barry, you were able to identify your two best clients happen to be golfers, well, I would want to know the country club pro, the golf pro, the connections, because you're not competition with the golf club. In fact, you're a secret weapon for them because you're going to keep their golfers healthier longer. In fact, you're going to extend the lifespan and the career of most golfers, right? If I'm a country club owner, I want my golfers to last 10 more years. I don't want them to wear out because their back hurts, their hip hurts. So again, you can start to look for these things. So your homework, when people are like, well, I don't know how to get referrals or where my clients, you need to know these things about your best clients, right? Where are they shopping for clothes? Where do they go for a massage? Who's their chiropractor? Should have spelled that out. Chiro's chiropractor. Their charities, their vet, their physician, their physical therapist, their top restaurants, right? It could even be just a simple coffee shop. And some of these places will be happy to give out your coupons or put your flyer out, especially if it makes sense or is a good fit, right? That place of worship. When I talked to someone in Arizona, she's like, what the biggest problem the older adults have is kneeling, right? She's a Catholic, and she's part of a massive congregation of like 5,000 families. Like, how many people would you guess have trouble kneeling in worship on Sunday? She's like, oh, probably half our congregation. I'm like, that sounds like a workshop right there, right? How you can help people with kneeling in service, right? And she's like, oh, they would love that. I'm like, well, why aren't you doing it, right? Why don't you offer that? So you start to look for these simple channels and avenues to find your next client. Okay. So if you haven't, take a screenshot of this. This is your homework. You've got to get good at this. I can tell you right here, charities. Every year we got clients from the Ultimate Pink Party. What's the Ultimate Pink Party? It's the biggest breast cancer fundraiser dinner held in West Lafayette every year. It's usually 300 to 400 women. Average age, 55. I mean, it's women of all ages, but I would say definite skews above 50. It's a lot of breast cancer survivors. It's a lot of people who have lost loved ones to breast cancer. It's a fundraiser dinner, and they sell booth space, sponsor space to vendors. And who do you think shows up there? Well, fitness centers, hair salons, spas, a lot of businesses that would cater to women in their 50s and 60s, caterers, hair salons and spas, dentists. What's the skincare, the Botox skincare, and that sort of stuff. They were there. We would get 50 to 80 leads every year from that event, right? And these are qualified leads because these women are paying $75 for their fundraising dinner, so then they can come spend money at the silent auction, right? So you got to tap into where these charities are as well. Okay, so if you want to get 3 new clients in the next 30 days, here's really the simple strategy. Do this homework, and then I want you to grow your contact sphere 150 people in the next 30 days. And I just say keep it simple. Don't get overwhelmed. Do it one step at a time, right? Looking at your homework here, where are they? Who can you contact? Who can you network with? How can you get another 150 people on your contact list? One contact at a time, one step at a time. Now, you might start with the 3 clients you have. And if you have 0 clients, if right now if you're saying, hey, Dr. Dan, I don't have any clients, I haven't even started, I have 0 clients, I'm thinking about doing this. If you have 0 clients, then you got to start here, define your avatar, right? It's Susan, she's 65 years old. Where is she hanging out, right? She's married. I told you her age, she's 65. She's got 3 kids. They're obviously all grown, hopefully all out of the house. She's got 4 grandkids. She just retired from her job as a nurse. What you can put in wherever you want there: physician's assistant, speech therapist, some professional. Likely her husband's still working. He's probably going to work for 2 more years. They live in Winding Creek, or you need to know the neighborhood. Winding Creek's a real one in my town where she would live. University Farm, Hills and Dales would be another. Those would be the 3 neighborhoods I would target. Spa, right? Christina's was a gold mine for us. Christina's gave away our $100 gift cards at Christmas. That was great. Hair salons are happy to give away your $100 gift cards in a lot of cases. Makes them feel good, right? Like, wait, I get to give away a $100 gift card today to all my clients? Yep, totally. Massage therapists can be great connections, chiropractors. So you need to grow your contact list 150 people, and you can do that through your current contact list. You can do that through all these different businesses you need to get to know. So let's look at that Labor Day campaign. I'm going to have to change screen shares here. All right, hold on a second. Got my email platform on. There it is. Okay. Had too many PowerPoints open. Okay, so Labor Day sale. I told you in the email I was going to show you, I think, how I made $75,000 from 2 emails. We actually did that for the first time in 2012, I believe, and I noticed my email platform doesn't even go back that far anymore. I think it only has a 10-year capacity. I was like, oh shoot, where are the 2012 emails? So I'll show you the 2013. One of these years in here, I think it was 14 or 15, we actually did over $100,000 on our Labor Day sale emails. The first time I ever did it, and this is why you've got to build a list, right? If you have a big enough list, you can run a big enough sale and generate a lot of money. In 2012, I had built a brand new studio, and I had a $35,000 bill coming due to move in October 1st. And September 1st, I did not have that money on hand. In fact, in August, I was like, I paid the 35 grand. I had to pay 35 grand for them to start the building back in December. And then the other 35 grand was coming due at occupancy, which was right around October 1st. I was like, didn't quite set that aside, did I? I guess I should probably run a sale. So I sent out 2 emails. And you can see here in 2013, 1,000 people opened this email. And this is not even, in my opinion, this is not even a great email. 3,487 emails went out. 1,005 were open, so 28% open rate, roughly. And here's the email: Labor Day sale, get up to 6 months of training free. That was the subject line. Keep in mind, the subject line is largely what drives your open rate, though. If the people on your email list really know, like, and trust you, and they open every email you ever send, your subject line can be terrible, right? I mean, if I sent an email out saying, join me tomorrow, that's not a great subject line, doesn't really tell you. But if you want to know what I'm offering for you to join tomorrow, you might open that email, right? So keep in mind, subject lines are important if you want people. So this one wanted to be really like, oh, get up to 6 months of training free. We would hope that would get people. Here's the email. I mean, this is 10 years ago, but it's not great. There's nothing flashy here. We're having our 2nd annual Labor Day sale. Similar to last year, you can buy 4, 5, or 6 months and get 4, 5, or 6 months absolutely free. Now, I don't recommend people do that big of a sale anymore. Back then, I needed a huge chunk of cash. And if you need a huge chunk of cash, in fact, I actually did just recommend this to an Anytime Fitness owner. 2 weeks ago, I said, I don't know if you're aware of this, but Anytime Fitness owners are buying each other out. That whole COVID thing, remember we talked about 40% of fitness businesses have closed permanently. Well, there are a lot of Anytime Fitness owners that were struggling, and the ones that were not struggling are now buying up a lot more gyms, right? They're going from 3 clubs to 6 clubs and 6 clubs to 10 clubs, and they're doing it fast because they know what they're doing. Well, I did say to her, I said, if you want to generate all the money to have 50 grand to buy your next Anytime Fitness club fast, you can do this right here. So you do have to pay in full. I give them the details here. You do have to pay in full, 4, 5, or 6 months, but then we'll double that to 8, 10, or 12 months of personal training in a small group. which includes unlimited membership access. You can choose 2, 3, or unlimited training sessions per week. The Labor Day sale is Monday, 8 to noon at both locations. I give them the hours. If you really want one-on-one personal training, we'll be offering a great sale on that as well. Buy 4, 5, or 6 months and get a 50% bonus, right? So we didn't do near the sale on one-on-one training because that's more labor intensive. If you have any questions, feel free to email back or stop in Friday or Saturday. We can go over all the options. People would come in on Labor Day between these hours of 8 and noon. The West Lafayette location was actually 6 to 6. And we would do anywhere from 40 to 50 membership contracts paid in full. And back then, our 4-month program was only $800. So 4 times $199 for small group training was $800. 6 months was $1,200. Unless they were training 3 times a week, then 6 times $249, $1,500. But we were doing between $800 and $1,500 on this 4, 5, or 6 month option, and we were just doing one after the other, after the other, after the other. One year we did somewhere like 58 of them. And again, these are paid in full, right? So when I tell people we did 75 grand, we did 75 grand actual money that day because people were paying in full. The mistake we made, and the thing I wouldn't recommend people do if I were to do it over again, in 2012, we offered this sale not only on small group, but also on personal training. And that got costly down the road, right? Because 6 months of personal training, and then I got to give you 6 months free, and it's one-on-one. That the margins on that weren't great. On small group, we still made plenty of money because at $249 a month, you're essentially now getting it at $125 a month. It's a great deal. But because of this volume, we were having small groups filled with 6 clients. And if you got 6 clients in there times $125 a month, you're doing $750 a month for half-hour sessions, right? Divided by 13, you're still making $57 a half hour. So we were still highly profitable on that small group. So, I mean, super simple Labor Day sale email worked really well. Obviously, it went out to our clients and our non-clients. We got a lot of new clients from this. So that was August 29th. Let's just look here real quick. We can look at the other email. Oh, sorry, I got to type Labor Day in here, where it gives us every email from the last 10 years. I'm in Fit Pro newsletter, by the way. You can do this in MailChimp, Constant Contact, any email platform. Really doesn't matter. So here's the one we sent on August 29th. And then actually this, I can't show you the second one of August 29th here. I can show you these two. So in 2014, we did a similar sale. This one, email looks a little better. I put some images in of, this is Laura Kirtley, the local TV news anchor, Nicole Kahn, local TV news anchor. This time we did buy 7 or 11 months, get 7 or 11 free on small group training. And we did buy 7, get 4 months free on one-on-one training. And we even put a video in here to watch Nicole Kahn and Laura Kirtley. Interestingly enough, when you train local TV news anchors, you can't use their image. You can't use an endorsement from them. You can't use them in your marketing. It's a real pain until they leave the TV news station. And then in most cases, in their cases, they had a 12-month like non-endorse commitment. So we had to wait a year before we could use them in our marketing. But it was funny. People were like, oh, that's Laura Kirtley from the morning news. I'm like, well, not anymore. She hasn't been on the morning news in over a year. Okay, so that's the first email we sent out. You can see we sent 3,300, a little lower open rate. And then let's look at the second one. So the second one, Labor Day sale today, short video for you on top 7. I don't know what they're not a great subject line in my opinion. Short video for you on top 7 what? Top 7 what? Why did I say that? Oh, top 7 benefits of personal training. Maybe it got cut off. Not a great open rate. But I sent it Labor Day weekend. In fact, I think this went on Labor Day. So not terrible for Labor Day. We are open today as our holiday hours. So it's kind of a reminder, hey, come in today. Now, we honored the Labor Day sale on Tuesday because a lot of people were like, oh, I was doing stuff for friends and family. Can I still get it? I wasn't going to be that business owner. I was like, nope, sorry, didn't come in on Labor Day. Too bad you were out of town boating or vacationing with your family. No, we still honored it on Tuesday, but obviously we wanted to get as many people in as possible. And this one, that's right, I remember this one. I actually filmed a video. Let's see if this still works. It does. So reasons why people enjoy personal training. YouTube's even running ads off of me. Look at that. So I did a video there for them. Not sure if you guys are able to see that. So let's go back to the emails. But so nice link to a video where I could build some trust, build some rapport, get them to, essentially know, like, and trust me, right? And then hopefully, if they need that to get over the hump, right? They're like, oh, I don't know if I want to sign up. They've got a short video of me in my office breaking down how training works, why training at Miracles Fitness, and the sale. So those are the two Labor Day sale emails. Again, we did that 2012 the very first time, did about 75,000 the very first time. I believe it was in 13 or 14 we actually did over 100,000 on the personal training paid in full special, all at once, all at one time. So that's the value of why you have got to have a list. Now that's Fit Pro newsletter. You do not have to use Fit Pro newsletter. You can. There's ConvertKit, there's MailChimp, there's Aweber, Constant Contact. You do need to have an email platform in most cases if you want to grow a business beyond 10,000 a month. If you only want to have a handful of clients, 5, 10, 15 clients, you can use your own personal email if you want. Just use a spreadsheet to keep track of people. I think once you get 50 contacts in your database, starts to get a little crazy if you don't have an email platform, because how do you go email 50 people? And eventually you want to grow that contact list. I already told you I want you to grow it to 150. In fact, I tell most people you're not really trying if you don't have 200, because we all know 150 people. I mean, I see, Joy on here and Francine, and some of you I've talked to before, Stephanie. I mean, look, you all know 150 to 200 people, and you're not really trying or getting serious if you haven't put 150 to 200 on an email platform, because then when you want to send out an email, and Labor Day is coming up, that's why I wanted to share that. Labor Day is September 4th, right? If you want to do a promo, and it doesn't have to be that big, it could just be, hey, if you sign up for a month of personal training with me, I'll give you a month for free, but I've only got 5 spots limited for this sale. Well, if you want to send that out to 50 people in your database, it's kind of, it's too tedious to do if you don't have an email platform that just sends it, right? For example, there's 11 people in this meeting today. Well, if I had to email 1,000 people one at a time to get the 11 of you here, this meeting never would have happened, right? I mean, there's just no way. And probably another 30 to 50 will watch the replay. Well, I have 2,000 of you on an email list. I can just, an hour ago, I sent out an email saying, here's the meeting link, and you guys are here. So you got to get an email platform. MailChimp is pretty easy. I think it might still be free up to the first 200, 250 contacts. But then you can just email people great content, images, great stories, hop on Growing Boulder, get some good content, share the stuff on the Functional Agent Institute Facebook page. I mean, we put out a lot of inspirational stuff and fun stuff, and every week in our newsletter, there could be something. I was going to show you guys this. If you don't subscribe to fitness magazines in the industry, you should. Club Business International is free from URSA. PFP magazine is free from PFP, Personal Fitness Professional. They also have an online version if you don't want to get the mail. I mean, look at this. Like, you're like, oh, I don't know what to send my email list. I mean, look at this guy. Really good looking headshot there, right? I mean, there's me training Terry in Miracles Fitness. 7 elements of a functional aging training program design. I mean, this gives you content right here to send your email list. Sometimes people are like, oh, I don't know what to email them. Don't overthink it. I mean, repurpose and reuse stuff. Power training, right? It's important for maintaining function as we age. You could totally share my stuff, right? I mean, you should be sharing this image with your clientele, right? You should be talking about climbing stairs and why it takes power and balance. There's so much content out here. You probably could go to the Functional Agent Institute Facebook page and get all the content you ever need. Jay Croft, are you still in the room? I saw Jay came in briefly. Looks like I don't see him in the room at the moment. Jay Croft runs a company called Prime Fit Content. I think it's about $80 a month, and you get tons of content for sending out to your email list, Facebook page, that sort of stuff. Okay, so lastly, and then I'm gonna just open it up to questions to you guys. And if you want to turn your mics on for that, you can. You don't have to come on camera. You can if you want to. So I covered the $75,000 email sequence. I covered really your homework, which is to really know, like, I want you to know who your best client is, who your avatar is, your ideal client, right? If it's this gal, right? What's keeping her up at night? What's she searching for on the internet that she needs help with? Is it back pain? Is it knee pain? Is it shoulder pain? Is it strength? Is it she's afraid of falling? Is it I can't pick the grandkids up? It might be all of those. So in those particular cases, how is she finding you to be the solution? Because she's out there, and not only is she out there, but she's out there in the hundreds in most markets, right? There's a lot of them that need your help. So that your avatar homework then is going to help you build a list of 150 people. And if you do that consistently day after day after day, that's going to help you get those 3 next clients and get those 3 next clients fast. And then the last thing that I wanted to leave you with before we just go to questions, and we can, you guys can ask questions about whatever. The last thing I want to leave you with was tap in to the market you have now. We don't leverage the market we have enough, right? We think, oh, well, people refer me, and my clients really like me and they send me referrals. But what are you doing to enhance that? What are you doing to control that to some degree, right? How are you creating opportunities for your clients to refer you even more, right? And so I encourage you to take the network of clients you have and do that avatar homework with them, right? Because if you're like, well, gee, I've been training Judy for 2 years, but I don't know what coffee shop she goes to. Well, shame on you. Why do you not know? Have you not bought her a cup of coffee in the last 2 years? Have you not given her a gift card to her favorite coffee shop? Have you not invited her to bring her friend with her to her next training session and you'll buy them a cup of coffee? I mean, it's that easy, right? We just start to be more generous and more friendly, and more network oriented, right? It's like, hey, Barry, the next time we have one of these free masterminds, I'd like you to invite 2 friends. And if you do, I'd be happy to send you a Starbucks gift card in the mail. Does that seem like a reasonable deal? Hey, Barry smiled, right? So I think it seems like a reasonable deal. Now, I don't know Barry well enough to know if he even likes Starbucks. So I'd probably take it the next level. Hey, if there's a local coffee shop you like even better than Starbucks, I would prefer to give them the business, right? So you have to start to do that homework, and then you have to start creating opportunities, because your clients are not thinking about referring you. They're thinking about, I got to get through this workout with you. They're thinking about my back pain and how are you going to help it. They're not thinking about introducing you to Judy and Tom and Bob and all these other people you can help. And so can you create a workshop where they can invite their friends? Can you literally just have a coffee and conversation afternoon? Hey, on Thursdays at 4, we're going to go to Gray House, and I'm going to buy coffee for everyone, and we'll talk about why hydration is so important for your knees, right? You don't even have to talk about anything if you don't want to, right? Just invite 2 or 3 of your clients to coffee and tell them to bring friends. And that's not that complex, but a lot of times we don't do that stuff. And then here's what I would do to lay on top of that, right? And you can do this week if you want. Email every single one of your clients after you've seen them, right? Within an hour, if you can. Sometimes we can't. Sometimes it has to be a couple hours, sometimes maybe even the next day. Email every single one of the clients that you saw on Tuesday or Wednesday within an hour if you can. Hey, Thomas, it was super cool training you today. I'm glad that your back pain's getting a little bit better. Can't wait to see you on Thursday. Oh, by the way, I've really enjoyed training with you. I don't know if you know this, Thomas, but I've got 3 openings for new clients. and I really love it if I could help someone that you know, right? If there's anyone you can think of, a friend, family member that you think I could help with their back pain, I'd love to work with them for free for a week, right? And you just send that email out there, and then the next time you see them, you say, "Hey, Thomas, did you get that email I sent you after your last training session?" They're like, "Oh yeah, thanks for sending that. Yeah, my back pain is getting better. Yeah, there is somebody that I could refer to you," right? And you just strike up that conversation. So you're creating those referral opportunities, because your clients aren't going to just walk in and go, "Hey, here's my list of contacts, right? Here's my list of people." You have to kind of create that environment, create that opportunity, and educate them to the fact that, hey, if you bring a client with you, I will happily give you a gift card to, the neighborhood coffee shop, right? And have those on hand, because you've already built a relationship with that coffee shop, right? You've gone into that coffee shop and like, hey, I need to get, $10 gift cards because I'm going to give them away as clients bring their friend in, right? Take good care of them when they come in, right? Build that relationship. Okay. Lastly, our coaching program is on sale. Some people, I think, were either didn't see that email or just realized it. It is on sale now for $29. I can't tell you exactly how long we're going to keep it on sale. Let me pull that link up here and put it in the chat for you guys. Our goal really was to open that up on sale for 25 people. We might take a few more, but we won't take a lot more because we got to coach the people. So I'll put that in the chat and I'll share that screen just briefly. So if you guys have any questions on that, feel free to ask. I'll share screen on that just so you guys can see it real quick. So our coaching program is normally $200 a month. Right now we're offering it for just $29 a month. It comes with a Facebook group. We do monthly group coaching calls, which we're actually going to ramp up to 2 or 3 in September. So there'll be plenty of coaching. This is the page. Again, it's normally $199 a month. We're doing it for just $29 a month. So if that's something you're interested, love to have you join us. There's no commitment beyond that. A lot of people ask, well, then what's the catch? I'm like, there isn't a catch. If you do the work, you'll probably add $2,000 to $3,000 a month to your business. And then you can decide if it's worth it to stay at $199 a month, or you can quit. It's totally fine. There are tons of free bonuses for signing up. Tons and tons of stuff. Even if you take very little action, just the free bonuses alone, summit presentations and sales funnels and just swipe files of email and Facebook posts, a lot of stuff that we've given you. So anyway, any random questions, general questions, a challenge? Thanks for being here, Joy. Awesome. She's inspired to create a Labor Day sale. I love it. Francine, I followed your advice. Dan grew my email list from 110 to 220. It took me almost 2 months to do it, but I did. Yeah, that's okay. Great. Some people it takes a little bit longer, but the work's done, right? You're at 220 now that you can be consistently emailing and sending messages to. So now if you ran a Labor Day sale to 220 people, that gets pretty exciting, because if you got 5% of those people to take you up on a Labor Day sale, that's 11 potential new clients. That's exciting. And just because you've grown your email list to 220, Francine, guess what? Your next goal is to get your email list to 400. Now that you know how to do it, you can probably get to 400 as fast as you got to 220. And then your email list gets even more powerful, right? And again, your email list is powerful on 2 fronts: the quality that's on it, and then the size of it, right? So an email list of 5,000, but it's 5,000 17-year-olds that don't have any money and aren't interested in personal training, is not an email list that's worth anything, right? Whereas an email list with 50, let's say Thomas said 75-year-old women with balance issues, right? If I had an email list of 50 women that were 75 that had unlimited financial resources, but they had balance issues, and they lived within 2 miles of where Thomas lives in Reno, that would be a much more valuable email list for Thomas than if I gave him 5,000 17-year-olds looking for the next video game, right? So remember, the people on your list matter. So Francine, when I say grow it to 400, grow it to 400 with the right people. Banyan Tree Pilates, awesome. I'd love to know your name just so I can put a connection to it. Banyan says they're going to sign up for the coaching deal. It is an awesome deal. I mean, for $29, again, any coaching program you sign up for is only as good as the work you do, right? I mean, I can give you multiple strategies and a couple of different things to do. And if you don't do any of them, then it won't really change your business, so you do still have to do the work, right? I'm not going to show up and train your clients for you, Thomas. I'm not going to send the emails out. I'm not going to do your Facebook posts, so Barry, you still got to do that work. Anybody else have any questions, comments? Thomas, you have a question or comment? You can turn your mic on.
Yeah, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
Okay, so since we did this last time, I concentrated pretty much. I got up, but this has happened to me a couple of times this year, and I probably have already said what I should do, but I'll give you an example. Okay, I'm 72 years old. I started becoming very successful here online during COVID. I still have 5 of them left that I do here. I got over, Leslie Bender got me over to Sports West. So anyway, I built up, it's pretty easy because senior women come in all the time. There's a pretty large senior population. I built my client list up. So I'm up to the point of a couple of months ago doing about 30 sessions a week, which for me is enough.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot.
So I kind of got a little bit, a couple of things that go on is I spend a lot of time prepping, and really there's kind of like a burnout thing going on a little bit with me, but now I'm okay. I just had to get away for a little bit. But seniors, now this has happened twice now. In the last 60 days, I'm down 9 clients. And I got 5 are traveling, right? 5 are traveling, 2 are done. 2 have issues. 1 has COVID, 1 has vertigo, blah, blah, blah. Plus a lot of lately seniors, June, July, August, a lot of cancellations. So that's kind of, once I get going and I'm rolling and things are good, I concentrate on training. I'm by myself. I don't own a gym. I train people right here in my house, and then I go to the gym. So I'm not a studio owner. But the fact of the matter is I'm kind of having I've never lost 9 clients before in 60 days. It's kind of nerve-wracking.
Yeah, that's a lot. Was that because they've moved away, or they're just taking trips, or?
Well, actually, really, I mean, they're not permanently gone. I mean, one went overseas. One is traveling the U.S. in a trailer.
Okay.
That kind of thing. They're going to be back late September type thing.
Okay. So a couple things, and everyone from the group can benefit from this. We're always losing clients. And I know there are people that say, well, but I never lose clients. My clients never leave me. And it's just not true, right? Clients move. They decide to go to Europe for 2 months. They decide to go move closer to their grandparents. They die. They move into a retirement community. There are a lot of different reasons they leave that have nothing to do with the quality of your training, right? So that's always happening. Now, in your case, 9 in 1 month or 2 months is way more than normal, right? It might normally be like 9 a year, right? Like one every month. And so you just happen to have a very unusual 2-month period where, somebody went to Europe for a couple of months, somebody else moved away, somebody else, got sick to the point they had to move into a nursing home. Most of the time, and people ask me this, people have asked me this over the years too. They're like, oh, do your clients die? Is it really painful? Because all your clients are older, they must die. And I'm like, no, no, they don't. That's just not been the case, because most clients we don't train to the very end of their lives, right? Joanne, we trained from age 80 to 87. And I cannot honestly tell you when she died. Because at age 87, she moved into an assisted living facility because her husband had passed away. She could no longer live in her own home. So at that point, we lost touch with her. And there was nothing we did wrong. We would have kept her as a client for probably 3-4 more years if her husband hadn't passed away, right? He passed away and she felt like she couldn't live in her own home anymore by herself. And so Thomas, those things are going to happen. In your case, they just happen to have all happened over a 60-day period, which for everyone in the group is a lesson that we have to always be looking for our next client. So much so, Thomas, that if you had a waiting list of 10 people, it would not have mattered, because you would go, hey, I've got 3 openings next week because, Lisa went to Europe and Bob decided to move to Florida. So it's why we always have to be doing this work of where's our next client coming from? Where's our next referral coming from? Every week, in fact, Thomas, you should be thinking about who's another chiropractor I can meet, who's another physical therapist I can meet, right? Keep building that network. Because if you can build a waiting list that's 10 deep, you're even more in demand, which also allows you to raise your rates, right? Because the next time a client gets fussy about what you're going up to $75 a session. Well, look, I've got 10 people on my waiting list, and I've got to be charging what I'm worth, and it just gets easier then to charge what you're worth when you've got 10 people deep waiting to replace. If you got one person thinking, oh, I don't know if I want to pay that. Well, if you don't want to pay it, it's no big deal, because I got 10 more people waiting behind you. It's like a really good restaurant.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's 2 weeks to get a reservation, people aren't coming in there and negotiating the price for the steak, right? I mean, they're not coming in going, wait a minute, you want $48 for the filet mignon? Why did I get a reservation 2 weeks ago? That doesn't happen, right? So does that make sense, Thomas? So build a waiting list, do all the things that we just talked about, build your contacts, get more referrals, build more relationships with more chiropractors, hair salons. Even the 9 clients you lost, there's an opportunity. Reach out to all of them and do what I call an exit survey, right? Why did they leave? Are they really gone, or are they coming back? Because if they're coming back, you can't completely replace their spot. And if they're not coming back, can they refer you to someone that might be interested in taking their spot? Right? I mean, they might be a completely satisfied client. I'm going to be in Europe for the next 6 months. But you know what? My sister would definitely benefit coming to see you. In fact, I'll tell her to come save my spot. So there's still opportunities, even with people that leave us, to get some what I call exit survey information. I don't think Thomas even heard that last part, which I think was absolutely beautiful. He left the room, so hopefully he'll get it on the recording. But I think sometimes when clients leave us, we don't even realize there's still opportunity to gather more information and even still get referrals, because if they're leaving for good reasons, right? Like, I have to move into assisted living, or I'm moving away, or, I'm a lot of times it's they move away or they're retiring somewhere else, right? Well, they might, on their way out, give us 3 or 4 referrals that they've never given us. People are funny. I don't want to work out where my sister works out, so I'm never going to tell her about my trainer. I don't want to tell my neighbor, because I don't want my neighbor to see me working out, because I feel self-conscious working out. But now that I'm moving away, boom, I'll give you 2 or 3 referrals to people who I definitely think should use you. Who else has a question I can answer today? I know we're over an hour now, and we're just in bonus wrap-up time. So Francine, awesome. Love to see you in the coaching group. Anybody else have a question or a scenario you want me to try to solve in 3 minutes or less? And you can type it in the chat if you're too afraid to turn your microphone on, or you can turn your microphone on and leave your camera off, either way. Or if nobody has any questions, we'll Lisa, how do you get the recording? I'm going to post it on our YouTube page and our Facebook group.
Okay.
So either option, if you like being in Facebook groups, that's a good place because we post stuff there. If you don't like Facebook, you can just go get it on our YouTube. And I will email that out probably in a couple hours. It will probably take a couple hours for this recording to process up onto YouTube anyway. So it won't be right away. I noticed you just joined recently, so.
Yeah, I had the wrong time.
Oh, yeah, that happens. I get it.
Yeah.
I almost had the wrong time myself. I looked at my calendar. I was like, wait, did I say noon Eastern? I meant I meant, but it worked out. Anybody else have any questions? And if you're, that's a great question too, Lisa. If you're on the recording and you have a question and you're like, oh, I wanted to ask this, that's a great place to be in the Facebook group, because where I post the replay, you can ask your questions there.
Okay.
You can actually make comments on the YouTube as well. YouTube lets you make comments too. So YouTube's just a little trickier because I don't always see the comments, whereas Facebook will notify me that somebody commented. So, but either one, you could post a comment. You can also email back. So when I send out an email, and again, it'll probably be in a couple hours once I get it up on YouTube and Facebook, you can always email back and say, hey, I watched the recording and I wish you would have covered this, or I wanted to ask this. That's
Okay. All right. Thank you.
cool too. So for those of you watching on the replay later, some days ahead, feel free to ask questions via Facebook or YouTube. Oh, and then again, for those of you on the recording, the coaching group, as of right now, we plan to keep that available till September 1st at $29. So the whole month of September will be $29. But you can sign up anytime now. We'll get you started, get you into coaching calls next week. And I would say don't delay on that, because we really are planning to limit it to 25 people. So, and the email went out to over 2,000. So if 20 people happen to sign up today or tomorrow, I can't guarantee that we're going to keep it at $29 through September 1st. So Christine, yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, my goal always when I do these free meetings is to try to give people some actionable content that they can put in place. And if you actually do this, if you do the things that I talked about today, it will increase your list, it will increase your clientele, and it will increase your business. So at the end of the day, I think you guys all want to help more people, and hopefully make a little more money in the process. So they do go hand in hand. The more people you help, the more money you make in a lot of cases. Unless you're not charging. I mean, if you're training people for free, Lisa, then that doesn't work, but you just help more people.
Yeah, no, it brought up a question. So the mastermind thing is $29 and then it's $200 a month after that. Is that just if you decided to leave in 6 months, or is it for a set time?
For as long as you want. So,
Okay.
so yeah, I did go over that just before
Okay.
you got on. I think, yeah, it's $29 a month, no commitment. You can quit at any time. And obviously our hope is that you see such value that you go, well, gosh, I got to do this for another month. Even, I mean, I just grew my business 2,000. Our goal is for people to start doing the math and realizing, look, Lisa, if I gave you $200 and you gave me 2,000 back, I would do that again next month. Right.
Yeah.
And then I was like, wait, and then I got another 2,000. Now my business has grown 4,000. And that's where people usually go, well, I'm good. I don't know if I need any more help. And I'm like, I'll give you 200 again if you're going to give me 2,000 again. So our goal is to grow your business about 2,000 a month and keep that pace. And then, what happens is you run into new problems, right? Because when all of a sudden you enter a new threshold of business, you're like, when Beth went from 3,000 to 11,000 a month, she ran into new problems she didn't know she was going to have, things like, I can't grow anymore because I have no capacity left. Now I have to hire someone. And then she hired someone and that didn't work out. Now I have to fire someone. I'm like, yes, these are all new problems. And I warned you they would come. And going from 11,000 to 20,000 brings new pain points. And you need to pay to get help coaching to get through those, right? And it's easy to go, well, I'm good at 11,000. I don't need to make any more money. And some people, that's true. Thomas, who was on here and left, we grew his business. I mean, he's now training 30 hours a week. I think he's training more than he even wants to, right? So I wanted to say to him, you lost 9 clients and now you don't have to work so hard. Because actually when he got to 20 sessions a week, he quit our coaching program because he's like, I don't want to grow anymore. I only wanted to make about four grand a month and just train part-time, and I'm growing too much. So, but anyway, the $200 a month, our goal is for you to see such value in it that you keep doing it indefinitely. That would be the goal, but you can quit at any time. So there's no ongoing commitment. We don't hook you into a year or anything like that. So thanks for being on, Barry. I got to run too. Nobody else has any burning questions. And you can always email me, just email me. So I'd love for you guys to join the coaching group if that works out. So thanks everyone.
Okay, thanks.
Yep. Have a great day. Bye-bye.